Next post. I'm not cherry picking here. I'm not scrolling down fast. City. Owning a home is key to building wealth. If you're a fucking retard, owning a home, are you fucking retarded? That can be passed on to future generations. That's why Citi is taking action to expand community lending teams for our mortgage products and services. Citi is an equal housing lender. I've got the subtitles here that shows me that music is playing. And let's see how the ad goes here. We've got the mudroom, build a life, fill a place with your history. Citi is taking action to make homeownership a reality for more Black Americans. Music playing. Learn more about Citi's blah, 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 da, 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 da. I'm paying $60 a month for spam on LinkedIn. This phone is so useful. What would I do without my phone? Oh, I have to go on it all day. You know what? Without my phone, I just can't get anything done. It's just so useful. It's so useful. Oh my God. What would I do without my phone? I wouldn't get anything done. You know, it's a productivity tool. And these apps, the stock market right now, I think 40% of the NASDAQ is FANGM, which is Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Google, Netflix, Microsoft. All these companies that add so much value. 40% of the NASDAQ, the entire reason why the stock market is blowing up right now is because these retarded we'll censor the N-word, these retard ass putting money into the stock market think that the future, the sci-fi floating car, floating city, cure cancer future is social media advertising. At some point, people are going to realize that social media advertising, we'll censor that out, don't worry, will not make your car fly. It will not make it so that you can retire earlier. It will not make it so that you can have you can genetically edit your diseases out. Okay? Fucking motherfucking Citi Black family mortgage. And no offense to black people, but I'm not black. And if you're collecting every motherfucking piece of data about me, you should know that. This advertisement is not properly targeted. Telling me to buy a house, telling me at the peak of the real estate market to anchor myself to a liability, to a money-losing liability, where I'm going to get fucking by property tax, by the various miscellaneous costs of home ownership. And when the property market takes a crash, maybe in 40 years I'll break even. That's generational wealth. That's the type of wealth that black families need. Black families need our product. Black families need to buy Citi mortgages. Okay? And, you know, stock market's at an all-time high. Who can complain, really? I can, rent is 80% of my expenses. So I guess I have 20% of my money left over for Steam games. What would I do without my phone? Really, what would I do without it? What would I do without the ability to fire up Instagram and start jacking off to some yoga pants model? You know what? I can, pros category. You got GPS, okay? Which it would literally be impossible to build GPS into a car. I've talked to technicians about this. I've talked to scientists on r/scientists. I've talked to the people that build cars, and they tell me that it would literally be impossible to put GPS in the car in a little window. That's something that is maybe 100 years out. So I have GPS on my phone, occasionally useful, good. I can listen to music. It used to be the case that I had to have a iPod or something like that to listen to music. That's a benefit. I can check my email, which means that if it's an emergency, I can see what eBay alert I'm getting. If it's an emergency, I can get out and see that Hemmings.com has 26 matches for Porsche 928, which is really important to me. That's going to help me make money and help me be secure in my financial future. And, it's just something I'm glad I have. But at the same time, it also means that I'm going to be checking my fucking email every 30 seconds. I'm going to be checking for notifications every 30 fucking seconds. And I can't go outside. I can't look at the sky or breathe or appreciate the company of the people I'm with because I have to look at my fucking cuck chastity cage phone every 30 fucking seconds or I feel like I'm missing out. What? Did someone post something new on Instagram? Oh my God, he said this? Whoa, on Twitter? What is that? Okay, I'm getting advertised to, and Gary Vaynerchuk says it's the future. Social media advertising is the future. People aren't going to be reading newspapers in 2030. I'm a genius. Gary Vaynerchuk's aspiration is to own a sports team. Period. And that's on period. Now, I'm not going to pretend like my aspiration is not to own a race car team with Asian slaves. But I am going to say the we'll censor that out. The life aspiration, is to own a sports team so he can pat sweaty men on the butt. Good job, champ. Can I pat your bottom? I'm Gary V. I emailed Gary Vaynerchuk with a politely worded list of criticisms that I have for him, and I'm hoping to hear back soon.
Good thing you have your phone so you can check every 30 seconds.
Hey, there we go. I wonder if he sent anything to me. Let's see. Oh, no, it's eBay again. I have order details for my eBay order. Amazon or eBay order update vintage 90s faded something. Order update vintage 80s blank something.
How do you do that? You
just twist it and pop it. It's actually controlled by an app on your phone. You have to download the YellowTech app. The most convenient thing in the world is when something could be controlled by a button, but it's controlled by an app.
Like Grubhub.
Grubhub.
I like the idea of like a series of buttons on like a big like interface where it's different restaurants and shit.
Well, you know what?
You have to use like a fucking dashboard.
I was talking to my friends who are a squadron of fighter pilots, where you fuck up the controls in a fighter pilot, or a fighter jet, you're out of luck. So that's where the rubber meets the pavement in terms of industrial design, in terms of interface. And they were saying that they would much prefer it if the fighter jet controls were controlled by an app.
Is that true?
Yeah,
I believe you. I'm thinking Dunkin'. Let's get some Dunkin'.
That sounds 11 p.m. Dunkin'. That's a really
12:26 a.m.
appetizing. You get whatever. I don't need to eat. I'm good. I got a gallon of milk waiting for me.
Wait, are you doing Go Mad?
No, I'm just kidding.
Are you? I saw a big cup of milk.
I'll stop lying to you. Well, I'm doing
Co-Mad cup of milk a day. Hell yeah. Dude, I tried to do Go Mad, and I think I gave myself some kind of dairy sensitivity.
You gave yourself a thyroid condition. That's insane. Thinking about you doing Go Mad.
I was doing H Go Mad.
That's a lot of milk for.
I was doing half a Go Mad.
That's probably a good idea.
I tried doing full Go Mad. That can't be done.
That's too much. You can't do that.
Yeah, no, that can't be done. Not by me.
So. It's looking like Biden's going to be the president. I personally am holding out, but I am a QAnon believer, and I realize that's retarded. So it is possible that Biden's going to be the HNIC pretty soon. So anyway, I think that regardless of who becomes president, and I do realize that thinking that Trump still has a chance sounds insane. And you are not welcome to give me feedback on that, okay? I am entitled to my various delusions. I've worked hard for them, and I'm going to keep them. Anyway, I think that regardless of what happens, and regardless of even if something really bad happens in 2021, I think it's important for people to, for people, as in you, the listener, not for people, fucking retards watching Cardi B compilate or whatever videos on Cardi B TikToks. Let me just refill this gas here. It's like Ethereum. You got to use gas to get it going. There we go. I think it's important for people to, and this probably is true even without, it's tempting to think if only politics were better and more like what I wanted, my life would be good. And maybe that's true, but maybe it's also true that people in general need to take more responsibility for their circumstances. I think it's important for the coming years, which I think probably something really bad is going to happen. Something really bad is going to happen in the next 5 years. Something bad is going to happen. I think it's important for people to be what I would call an all-terrain person. Okay, visualize a Subaru Forester. Become that as a person. Okay, all-terrain meaning that whatever happens, you will find a way to circumnavigate the obstacles. Okay, slalom test. And I feel like there's a lot of young people who don't know how to go about, how to even start, or why it's even important to start acquiring wealth, and learning to protect wealth. And it's something that I wish I'd had been paying more attention to in my 20s, I guess. The value of the dollar going down, and the way that the way taxes work. I mean, it's just something to start paying attention to, and paying attention to ways to start becoming more parasitic. And that sounds bad, but your money, your tax dollars, are not helping the world. They're not going out. They're not being sucked out of your pocket to go out there to cure diseases or build great public works of art or useful infrastructure. Your tax dollars are being taken from you to support this gay oligarchy and pay for dying old people and pay for food for people who are just unwilling to work for the most part, and to pay for missiles for Israel. So every dollar that gets sucked out of your pocket is being used for evil, with a capital E. And when I say become more parasitic, I mean I think it's important for your generation, my generation, to just start gaming the system more. Game the system more. Bring it crashing down. Highlight the various the manifold inefficiencies and problems with the system, and in doing so, make the thing grind to a halt sooner. There's this real old timer. When I was younger, I always heard to pay off my debt. Pay off your debt. You should buy a house. Every American wants to buy a house. This is how you get rich. You buy a house. You pay off your debt. You don't have any debt. You don't want debt. That's bad. Debt's very bad. I'm in so much debt right now. I'm probably in $100,000 worth of debt. I probably have $100,000 worth of debt. Do you know what the negative consequences of me having $100,000 worth of debt is? I got a phone call that I don't pick up. You can't. There's no debtor's prison. Um, the only negative is if I ever wanted to buy a house, which I don't want to do because that's retarded. Because the real estate market is in a bubble. Why would you buy a house while the real estate market's in a bubble? I guess my longest term plan would be to get rich enough that I can buy a modest house, cash, I don't know, or just have enough assets that my credit score is not comparatively as important. But the short-term debt thing, I mean, I know, Julian, doesn't debt bother you?
No. Dude, I've been mad that...
You pay your car, I guess you pay your car bill because you have to, because you repo your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, you taught me not to really give a shit about that. You and then, I forget his name. There's this one real estate dude, but he has, like, a podcast talking about, like, personal finance.
Robert Kiyosaki?
No. He's, like, a bald Texas white dude.
Oh.
But, yeah, he's very like, it's not worth, like...
The thing about debt is that every rich person uses debt. Every rich person is always in debt. They're in millions of dollars of debt. Because what debt is you get to use somebody else's money now, and you don't pay taxes on it. When you get I just took out a collateralized loan for $20,000 because I want to buy a Pontiac Firebird. So I'm not paying taxes on that $20,000. It's not the same as cashing out of stock market or Bitcoin or anything like that. So I'm not paying taxes on it, and I don't have to pay it. I don't have to pay that back for years. Which this is probably not that interesting to people. Anyway, my point is that if you're the type of person, if you've heard from your parents that you have to be, you can't be in debt. You don't want to be in debt. Buy a house. Go buy a house right away. Buy a house right now. That's the only real value of real estate. You got to buy a house. Just start watching YouTube videos about money and realize that that's retarded. That's my only point.
I feel like that's one of the first things you learn watching YouTube videos about money.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty common sentiment. I think
it's like entry.
Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Anton Creel. Your personal house is not an asset, and that makes sense to me.
I'd say if you own land, that's different than owning a house.
I haven't looked into. I don't know about land ownership. I mean,
I think owning land's probably just pretty fire.
Well, I think the thing people don't count on is property tax. Property tax will take an investment of like $100,000 or whatever. Property tax will take whatever your investment is, and regardless of where the value of the thing goes, just over 100-year period, paying 2% or whatever percent property tax, it's just going to make your investment dwindle. It's not like buying something like metals or like even the S&P 500 mutual fund. Even though mutual funds are really probably a bad idea because they overweight stocks that are not the up and coming tech stocks. Like you buy a mutual fund, you're also buying shares of like ExxonMobil and like legacy companies that are not going to be around in 50 years. So it's kind of retarded. And they're also companies that are not going to be priced into the upcoming hype of the next 10 years or whatever. Anyway, land. Oh yeah. The thing that worries me about land and real estate especially is, for example, I think Biden and Kamala Ding Dong were proposing some kind of like 3% house tax on top of your local property tax or something. That's the thing that bothers me is if you buy land or you buy real estate, you don't really own it. You are kind of still renting it from the state. So if you don't pay your property tax, you don't pay your rental fee to the state, they take it away from you. You know what I mean?
That is kind of crazy.
That's crazy to me. It's not that's why I like Bitcoin so much, is because if you have Bitcoin, you actually do own it. If you have control over the private keys, you are the owner of this digital bearer bond thing, essentially.
Yeah.
And the same thing with physical metals. Like if you have It's not the best idea to have a bunch of physical metals in a cardboard box in your house, but if you do that, you at least own that shit, you know?
Yeah.
And if they want to take it away, you can make the, well, you can hide it, let's say. But this that is not true for real estate and for land, because you'll get your investment will dwindle with taxes. You gotta just do the long math. You gotta get out a piece of pen and paper and do the math and see if it's worthwhile, and then also factor in the risk if we're going to have some crazy socialist regime that starts seizing people's houses. Because I would want a nice house. I'd want the type of house that a socialist regime would want to seize. They'd take one look at my white ass and say, you know what, these should be condos for communities.
That's crazy to think about. You don't really own land, even if you own it.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that wild?
Not only will they take the land from you, but they'll put you in jail.
You're still renting it. You're still paying it. You're paying yearly.
It's like moving into a neighborhood during, like, you know, the New York mob era. Mm-hmm. And even if you're paying rent, you still have more rent to pay. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
You go buy a house straight cash right now, and you're still going to be paying rent.
Yeah, that's nuts. Did you see Ellen Page is now Elliot Page?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
And
Elliot, go Elliot!
There are people attacking the...
Woo!
I forget what journal it was, but they said Ellen Page is now a transgender man named Elliot Page. Mm-hmm. And there were, like, the most fried people imaginable in the replies being like, it's in such poor taste that you would dead name Elliot. And
that is
it's
in poor
like
taste. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
It must be like there's no way anyone can afford to like give a shit about that stuff. What is your day-to-day like if that's like at the surface of your mind, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like do you literally just like stare at a wall all day? Or like
they do. They fucking do.
Like
they stare
I can't even picture someone like that like eating.
They eat microwaved food and they stare at a wall all day.
Yeah, that's nuts. Like, why is that worth it to anybody?
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you're trans and you want to be like proud of that or whatever, and be a part of your little trans community, that's one thing. But just to, like, get fired up over fucking retarded ass celebrities, like.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited because now I can beat the shit out of him.
Like,
I'm gonna give Elliot Page 2 black eyes.
Dude, that would.
I'm gonna bust him up.
I'm thinking about.
I hate that guy.
I'm thinking about how you could do that and like wager that it's like how mad would people get? But the argument they would say you beat up a trans man.
No,
it wouldn't be
a man.
But that's not. See, that's their.
In my
that's
opinion,
their fallback now.
It's a man, and I'm gonna kick his ass.
That's the argument now. Is that it's not.
I'm gonna do
not
celebrity
a
boxing with
man.
Elliot Page.
So now there's trans people that want to be men, and bottom line, but then now there's.
I want to kick the fucking shit. I want to
men.
beat the brakes off that guy. I want to whip his fucking ass. I want to kick his
I just want to forget.
I'm gonna fucking kill him.
If
Elliot
I found
Page,
a genie,
yeah.
If I found a genie, and one of my first or second wish would be to forget like 98% of the American population, like just like I wouldn't be able to perceive them anymore.
Elliot Page, I also hate that guy because he's just another fucking white guy.
Yeah, he's just another white male.
Boring at this point, you know. Join the ranks of the founding fathers and every other white male that doesn't matter anymore. Elliot, fucking ass. And I'm saying that, you call a white guy, you'd be like, hey, what's up, you faggot ass cracker?
I also don't believe in celebrities' capacity to think like a normal human and feel like a normal human.
There's no way.
Like, it's just not comparable to like. Katie, the trans woman.
There's just the thing about Los Angeles is Los Angeles fries people.
Yeah, dude.
Regular people.
Yeah.
People that work at the avocado bar at Los Angeles are fucking
Absolutely baked.
cooked.
Yeah.
And it really does a number on people. I mean, me and Nick went out there. We were in Venice, and we were near like all the little hipster areas, and we would go to the Silver Lake coffee shop. There's a coffee shop called Intelligentsia.
Dude, that place needs to go.
That is awesome. Calling your coffee shop Intelligentsia.
Imagine some like 1920s car mechanic guy.
Nick had a joke where he would open up Pornhub on his laptop inside Intelligentsia.
They would probably be like, "Oh, what kind of porn are you watching?"
No, they weren't like that.
No, they weren't.
No, they didn't like that.
No.
Intelligentsia. Oh my gosh.
That sounds like a one of those expensive multivitamins.
Yeah.
Or like an app, like a brain training app.
But if you're a celebrity and you have like handlers, you know, you have people that help you out and basically are like a full-time nanny for you.
And you just like,
which even the low-level celebrities have somebody like this, where it's like someone who like fixes cleans up their mess.
They have something that no regular person will ever have.
I'm not saying that every celebrity has like a butler and like maids and a gardener, but it's every celebrity at least has one person
like
who's on the payroll to sort of clean up their mess.
Yeah. And like Ellen Page was like definitely an A-list.
Elliot, your yoga's coming up.
Yeah. Elliot Page was like an A-list celebrity, I'd say. Or close.
Yeah, he is.
So, you know, he must have crazy people working for him.
Probably not. He probably just has like one or two assistants who just make life a little cushier.
Like being that high of a status in society, like the idea of like a celebrity like having an identity just doesn't add up to me. Like I don't believe in like a celebrity, like someone that big. I feel like they're too up there and too like too involved in this like surreal like fantasy life.
Well, I've met these people because I am a celebrity, but the identity that they have is the same identity that like a little kid would have if you sent that little kid to like roller coaster camp, and then every 10 seconds you were like, "Here's a lemonade, here's a milkshake. Oh, we get to play video games later. Oh, we're going to go ride ATVs later. Oh, a roller coaster just came in. Time to go to Choo Choo Town." And you did this for like 2 years, like to a little kid. That's the type of identity that these people have. It's just like,
I picture myself being a celebrity and not caring about anything at all. Like, I wouldn't ever be like, well, how do I feel on the inside? Like, who am I? I'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, I don't have to figure why would I have to figure that out?
What's the incentive for me to reflect
I'm already rich and famous. Like, I'm like, I can do whatever I want. Why would it matter who I am on the inside? And like, I don't know. And like, I guess like part of it is that their lives are so like publicized too. And I feel like celebrities justifiably so have like probably have a really bad case of like main character syndrome, you know, and like
MCS.
I just don't believe in the sincerity or depth of like any like A-list celebrities like identity or how they say they feel. Like it just all seems
they claim to have feelings.
Like I just don't know how you could.
No, I agree. I understand.
Like I don't. The math isn't there.
It's not you. Well, you wouldn't if you were using math to factor this. There'd be no way of solving it.
You couldn't. Like, and I'm not saying that about like everyone in the show business. Like I'm sure like a lot of like
they're scum.
I'm thinking about like I guess like more music artists are probably like a little more down to earth. I say that because I started thinking about Wiz Khalifa because Wiz Khalifa just doesn't care. He'll never speak on anything, which I fuck with. Like he just keeps it real.
He keeps it real.
He really does. Find me a time where Wiz Khalifa is capped about something.
I couldn't find you a time.
Like say what you will about it. Have whatever opinion you want, like it or don't.
I couldn't find a time where Wiz Khalifa is capped. I couldn't do it.
I can't either.
I wouldn't even attempt to do